back with EVTOL Weekly. Guys, my name's Liam, one of the host brothers here. I've got my good friend, my prophet, Dylan, on the right hand side of me. Dylan, you called a massive week. We got a massive week. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we've got, again, Mr. Juicy Fruit on the bottom. He has his two aircraft behind him. He's now, do you know what, guys? He's got a Starlink now, yeah. So he's gonna start flying around. It'll be a very unusual strain. You've never seen it before, but we'll be live in the air. That'd be unbelievable.
We're gonna test it out. We didn't want to do it tonight, but yeah, we're gonna test it out. Right now, I'm talking to you on a Starlink. It's in my truck outside the hangar here, but soon we're gonna put it in the airplane, and we're all gonna go flying together as we talk about eVTOLs.
Guys, jump into the comments and show our appreciation for Dylan. Dylan last week, I could actually bring up the clip. Dylan last week said, I'm excited. I don't know, is it going to move big up or move big down, but we're going to get some big moves this week. And he was excited for it. Dylan, I'm not going to steal your limelight. What did you see? Did you start adding? What started happening there?
I'll be honest, going into the week, and it was really just a gut feeling. I feel like some of the additional kind of push with the FAA and the EIPP, I know that those decisions weren't going to be made at this time, nor have those companies released. But it just, for me, it kind of felt like the eVTOL industry had felt some consolidation for a few different weeks. And it just kind of seemed like we were ready to pop. And with that, maybe I'll throw it back to you for exact numbers, but I know that Hovr had a very nice week. I also believe that Joby had a bit of a run up in price as well. We did get the JPOW Fed cut, so it did seem like the market was a little bit on wait for that. But with the 25-point basis cut coming in, it did seem to kind of greenlight a little bit more of the beta stocks, some of the growth stocks that were in the market kind of holding down. But yeah, it just kind of seemed like one of those times where we were getting just enough information, but didn't know what was going on in the eVTOL world. So something had to happen. But I'll say, at least on the Archer side, Archer did not have the same daily moves and the same weekly moves. So again, not that I have the crystal ball, but if I take it back, this is without looking at the chart, but if memory, by about April and May, there was probably about 30 to 45 days where it felt like almost in a row that Archer was having intraday moves of about 3 to 5%. And right once those intraday moves stopped, that's when we kind of had our big blow off top. Now, again, I know that there was some of the Jimmy Fallon stuff, some of the other stuff that may have played into some investor sentiment around then. But with Archer specifically, even if it wasn't winning the race in the percentage of gains during the week, I was really happy to see that it was finding throughout the week higher highs, higher lows, and then higher highs within the weekly chart. So again, going in tomorrow, bullish for it. And yeah, more thoughts, but pass it on to you guys and see how you guys are feeling.
Yeah, Mark, immense week.
Good week.
I'm going to get into a few numbers here. Did you add anything? I know you are well up at this stage because the two ones you fairly hold well moved the largest. But how are you feeling?
It was a good week, and I did. I bought in. How many did I buy? Let me look. But I added my position of Archer. I'm pretty much. Heck, I can't even remember exactly now, but can't even think of it now. I bought 5,000 shares of Archer this week, so and I'm gonna hold that position now. I think I don't know. I think the space is so undervalued still. And you're not going to be able to keep up with the amount of news that's going to be coming out of the space, even if Archer's behind on their design, if that is the case. Any progress that one company does, it's just going to be pushing the tide up. That's going to be bringing everybody else up as well. So, you see the bumps of all three of the companies, Archer, Joby, and Hovr that we follow. they all popped this week. So,
Guys, I'm going to do a quick run through of numbers before we get any further into it. Now, guys, I know I do recognize that whatever stock we normally talk about first, we lose them investors as the stream goes further on. Look, our streams are not scripted. So if we talk about ACHR now, we could end up talking about ACHR again in 20 minutes' time. We're not over with ACHR when we go on to Joby or go on to Horizon. So never be afraid. You want us to start talking back about ACHR? You want us to start talking about Horizon? Do jump to the comments. You do steer our streams. But ACHR over the day, Friday was up 6.59%, did move 12.69%. Look, 12.69 is nothing to be sniffed at. You're on the S&P. Well, not this year. This year, the S&P is immense. It has recovered over the month, 6.14% up. Over 6 months, that's 17.94. And then over the last year, we are up at 223. Joby, very impressive. Massive, massive Friday. 13.33% up with 18.43 over the week. Over the month, that's 11.65. Over the last 6 months, that's 155.47. And then over the last year, 220. Now, this one, I have a bone to pick with some Hovr investors, but I'll get into that in a minute. 9% over the Friday, 31.95% over the 5 days. Over the last month, 40%. 6 months, 301.80, and then over the last year, it's 298.21. Now, guys, I started pumping out more videos on Horizon Aircraft. That's another thing, guys. This week, I tried to do more videos for you. I'm not going to get into what was wrong with me. I was telling the boys prior to the stream, it's not something that you want shared on YouTube. But I am not able to sit in the studio and record content, so I was out on the farm recording Horizon content this week. I did post it on Reddit because I know some of you guys requested us to create a Reddit and start posting on it. And then I started getting hate on Reddit again. The exact reason I came off Reddit. They started saying that it was one of the guys, I'm not even going to call him out, started saying that we do minimal due diligence on Horizon. We're only trying to pump Horizon because we want more viewers in Horizon. It's only 2% of my portfolio, so he has no confidence in me. And what was the other thing? That, I said we told you so because we 3.5x since we first brought it to you. But we did tell our community so. So, mate, I wasn't directing it at the Horizon crowd when I said we told you so. It was just our community. Look, we don't do content to pump Horizon. We don't do content to say we have more shares than anyone, we have less shares than anyone. We don't even do content to say we know more than anyone else. We're just trying to get the exposure out there. More exposure in Horizon, the better. I don't care who creates the content. I don't care if it was Mickey Mouse speaking about Horizon. They just need more eyes on the stock. More eyes on the stock means more potential investors get their eyes on it and potentially can invest in it. But, guys, Horizon.
Not only that, You did a poll just a couple weeks ago of which companies would you like to talk about, and I think Horizon was the leading in the poll. So we're going to talk more about Horizon. We're going to talk about any aircraft companies, particularly if someone in the space wants to hear about it. We're going to discuss it. Someone brought up Supernal a few weeks ago, and boom, we discussed it. It was a huge ad. It's the whole point of this ecosystem that we have, this group. So, yeah.
Jumping across to the comments, we do have Bag of Holding. On YouTube, live chat replay is what lets viewers see the chat messages while rewatching the live stream. Whether it's available depends on how the channel owner sets it up. Mate, I know you've asked me this before. I will look into it. Not going to lie, I run it through StreamYard. I don't do it directly live through YouTube. So I will have to look into that for you. I asked ChatGPT how to enable it. Okay, my guy. Christian White, I'll be waiting, my guy. Do you know, Christian? Big shout out to you. You were our #1 fan this week. You were commenting on all our videos. So big shout out to you, my guy. I know you're big into both ACHR, Joby, and you're also in Horizon. So big shout out to you. Yeah, guys, get the conversations going in all our videos. That will drive the algorithm forward. Do smash the like button while you're at it. Joel Phillips says, good afternoon from Vancouver, Canada.
Love Vancouver. Whistler.
Joel, you have to meet us when we go down there to... It's around Toronto. Horizon's headquarters, is it?
Yeah, it's north of Toronto, but Vancouver is a long stretch from Toronto.
I know it always seems like it's so close, but it's like,
Yeah.
And then Liam busts the
Joel, we'll have a lot to talk about if I come pick you up in my airplane. It's a long time.
Zed Stacker says Liam is stuck on the farm. Dyke Jackson says, let's go. eVTOL's getting hot. And
it is.
Love that.
Dylan,
Love that.
do you think we're going to get a big week this week?
Let's see. Honest thinking, I'm looking at Archer's fib right now. I'll hop over to some other charts too. I think investor sentiment is pretty good. I know that seasonality, August and September are supposed to be some down months. And I really feel like even if you look at the general S&P, it's really headstrong. I don't have the exact number in front of me, whether at a gain or a loss for the 2 months combined on that. But I feel like maybe through the big April dip that we got through the tariffs, maybe there was that point in time where maybe we felt that seasonality dip a little bit earlier in the year. So maybe the possibility of still finishing out September a bit green, again, off the backs of the rate cut news. So, I'm going to stay bullish going into this week. And I'm going to hope for me that this is one of those nice weeks where you sit back and you don't have to go shopping because things are on sale in the portfolio. And it's a nice week to kind of sit back and, just, like they say, touch some grass and check in on the portfolio. But yeah, I'll say that continue momentum up, not financial advice, but yeah, I'd be interesting to see come Monday, but I'm going to go with continue momentum up for the sector.
Mark, how are you feeling about this week going forward?
It's, I'm becoming, it's interesting. A few months ago I was doing swing trades, and now I'm getting to that point where both specifically with Joby and Archer, they're getting so far along and it's starting to come into the public consciousness. For example, just today I was having a conversation with a guy who is a charter pilot. He flies for a charter company, and he's also a helicopter pilot. You don't see it too often where you see a fixed wing and a helicopter all in the same person. But I mentioned to him, I'm like, hey, I'd love to chat with you sometime about eVTOLs and just this new industry that's coming out. And he was just like, what are you talking about? And I'm just like, this is someone who is in aerospace and has no clue, which just goes to show that this is not in people's consciousness. Yes, it's not in the public's consciousness. And as we get further and further along, we get further down the road, what I think too is when we had the big dip with tariffs, I think a lot of hedge funds popped out. I saw an article, they were talking that trillions of dollars went out of the market. And that was hedge funds and large institutional investors popped out. Us retail traders won over because we stayed in the game and bought the dip where they didn't. And now as they start getting tariffs figured out and they start lowering interest rates, there's over $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion, from what I understand, still sitting on the sidelines. And those institutional investors may come back into the game and be like, oh, there's this whole new market we could start tapping into. And so, week to week, we could do a 20% drop this week. That's and cool. If we do, I'm gonna look at it as like, okay, I'm gonna take whatever I've got to add to my positions because I just believe in this space so much. But then on the flip side too, there was a lot of momentum on Thursday and Friday. I could see that same momentum. We could just be catching a wave going into October and November, and both Joby and Archer could start testing new highs as well. Not investing advice, but purely conjecture.
And a quick thing
personally,
that you think there, Mark. Yeah, go for it. Finish it up. No, sorry.
I'm just excited. I'm excited for the next couple of months, and definitely. I mean, I was excited about 2025. 2026 is going to be nuts.
Oh wow, that's cool. I like that.
All right,
and
Dylan, you were saying.
You made me. No, yeah, I'm sorry, but you had just made me think of something that I heard last year around this time regarding Bitcoin, where kind of the long-term Bitcoiners and stuff, they would kind of talk about Thanksgiving as being that time where all of a sudden every year you can tend to get that extra person at the table who's now wondering what Bitcoin is, or questioning, or asking that question. All of a sudden, grandma's like, "Oh, I've heard of Bitcoin." And so the people that have been in it for 10 years are like, "Okay, now grandma's asking about Bitcoin." So just like a little random conjecture towards, when everybody's around the holiday tables this Thanksgiving, will one person mention the eVTOL and everybody else is clueless? And fast forward, like you said, Mark, to 2026, and somebody says the eVTOL.
It's going to be so exciting.
Who knows? Yeah. I'm with you. I am with you.
I personally think Joby, Archer, where they're at in their development phase is the same as Rocket Lab 4 months ago or 5 months ago with their new rocket that they're coming out with. And now look at where Rocket Lab's at right now.
I was about to say that. I was like,
we get to the World Cup.
Scaring me at the moment. Well, it's not scaring me. It's exciting me, but. Do you know, we all do this where we're like looking at our investments, we're like, okay, what catalysts are coming up? It just feels like my whole portfolio is just set for that next run. Each and every one of them seems to be coming to fruition around the same time. Look, guys, I'm still holding the bag on Redwire. If I can get out of Redwire pretty quickly, Archer's just looking way too good now. We were actually discussing this prior to the stream. That, look, I honestly, hand on heart, do believe that Joby will have the bigger move when it comes to certification. We all know that Joby are going to get certification first. But it's a whole different ball game once certification is achieved. Because it's like you start back at ground zero. Now, it's forget about who's first, whatever you want to do, what your aircraft looks like, whether your aircraft's functioning. Now it's a business, and because there's no tried and tested method in how this eVTOL business is going to work, we're only drawing parallels to the likes of Uber. Who is going to be the better run business? As a business, not as a designer, manufacturer, as a eVTOL business, an air taxi business, who is going to dominate? And then it kind of gets me into the video I've just dropped. I'm not going to re-say the video, but how many airliners do we have? There's enough room for everyone to eat here. Whether we talk about the amount of cities in the US, the population in the US, the actual manufacturing capabilities of both Archer and Joby, even put together, if they amalgamated together, would not have enough manufacturing capabilities for the demand that there will be. And as a consumer, and this is where I want to try and bring Archer and Joby investors completely away, forget about your investment. As a consumer, if I want to fly on an air taxi, I do not care whether it's the S4, whether it's the Midnight, whether it's the Cavorite X7. As long as it's safe, I want to fly on one of them. I don't care which one. Guys, any thoughts about the whole macro eVTOL industry?
And it's an interesting point you make, because look at when you get an Uber, you don't make your judgment of, oh, I'm not going to pick this because it's a Honda. Or it's a Toyota Corolla. You're making your decision based on time of how many people do we have? Can we fit this many people in this car? And you don't even think about the car. You don't know the difference. And to the public, that's what this space will be in a few years. You're gonna go to a city and be like, oh, what is the flying taxi here? What service is it? Oh, it's a Joby. Okay, let's take a Joby. Or it's like, oh, it's an Archer or whatever 135 or charter company that has an Archer set up. You'll just be like, okay, yeah, let's roll.
And it's like looking at it in another way. Okay, we say Uber, but then Uber itself has competition. Uber has the likes of Bolt that is able to eat at the table as well. So as a consumer, and that's what we have to think about, how this business is going to make money is the amount of consumers that actually fly with them. As a consumer, you just care about convenience. You care about price. And that's where we can say how beautiful the aircraft looks. We can say how one aircraft is far superior than the other. But as Mark said there, look, you can say a Civic might look nicer than a Corolla, but a Corolla might be more efficient than a Civic. I don't really care. If it gets me from A to B, I don't really care.
No, I love that. And I think, like you said, and it makes me think to a layover flight that my wife just had. So she landed at a smaller airport. So it was a smaller plane taking her off. It was still a United branded airplane. So I wouldn't know the specs on it with 737, all that kind of stuff. But it was the smaller one. Basically walk in. So instead of having your divided rows with a walkway, you have just basically one walkway. And I think it's like 3 seats or like 1 and the 2. But again, she got in, it looked different. It felt different, but it wasn't just to the point. It wasn't like she was jumping off that plane being like, oh, I'm brand loyal to a 737 Max. And if that's not what's getting me to my next stop, then I'm hopping off. So I think both of you guys brought up great points with that.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go straight back to the comments. Do let me know what you think about the whole macro industry. Am I being silly? I did start off the video with quite a controversial statement. Do let me know how you felt about that. I'm not going to say it.
You opened my mind, though. You know, it was a very open, even for me, who has been studying the industry and chat with you guys all the time. You know, and that's what I love, the ever evolving thoughts. But for me, I loved it. I was glad you put it out.
Then jumping across, we have Dyke Jackson says ready for the good weekly eVTOLs feeding. Big shout out, my guy. Mary,
Yeah.
Big shout out. You're here absolutely every week. Mixie Phil says the bag of Holden believes in something. ChatGPT finally.
He's on
Nah,
board.
do you know what? Bag of Holden said something to me. If Horizon came out and proved they could lift 150 pounds with the half scale model, he would believe in Horizon. That's what he says. So I said,
that's all it's going to take.
That's all it's going to take. That's all he wants. Matan, big shout out, my guy. Good push on the Horizon content. Always watching, always supporting you, my guy.
Another thing I wanted to bring up real quick too, and I need to give the guy that says the Let's Talk Joby, Travis. He does a stream every day, so this isn't me speaking, but I'm gonna pick off of some comments he made. Big point he made today in his stream was that in the next quarterly, Joby will start showing revenue through its Blade services. And Joby is really leveraging off of Blade and the services that they already have. Like there's the, I want to say it's the Ryder Cup, but I don't think it's the Ryder Cup. There's some sort of an event that's coming up here, and Blade has traditionally been the a sponsor for that, and now they're going to be showcasing Joby at that event as well as just still offering services. So I think just a positive for Joby, in addition to their certification of the S4, is they're going to be able to show revenue generating through their acquisition of Blade.
And I love that you say that. I love that you brought that up, Mark, because I think that's a great point too, is we'll start seeing revenue. And I saw this, and if anybody in the chat has any more info, and I will dig deeper, But with Archer and on the over air side, I was seeing that over air actually generated revenue as well. So with that acquisition, it will be interesting come these next quarterly reports, what is shown for each one of the companies for revenue. Again, not based on the sale of their own aircraft, but the acquisitions that have been made by each company. I think it's a great point, Mark.
Yep.
Then Dyke Jackson says, I'm choosing to watch your stream over football. Lol, gotta get the latest scoop. Big shout out, my guy. Who's playing? We talking about American football here. I know over here, all
4
our
o'clock
football
was Cowboys and somebody, but for over here, you usually got a lot of viewers watching the Cowboys. So if we're stealing any NFL viewers, then I hope we're using your time right, and that's awesome.
Matt Ann says Mark's in the hangar. Do you know what? I feel like Mark's always in the hangar or in his plane. Mark's always working, my guy.
Yeah.
Me and Mark sometimes have chats offline. This guy is always moving. He never stops. Mixie Phil, he's a big supporter of Dylan. He's a big Archer investor himself.
Thanks, man.
DUU2, hi. Any news from Chris on Rock Lab Haste launch Monday to Thursday night? If not, no problem. Thanks. I will be doing a stream with them guys very, very soon. I said during this stream, I've had a rough week this week, health-wise. I will be back streaming with them guys soon. Don't have any information at the moment, but they may be going live tonight. I'll have to double check with Francisco. Mixie Phil says Archer was playing defense, squeezed the shorts now after the races. Just the Silver.
I might have to check in. Sorry on that, Liam. Let me check in just to see if we have any updated shorts on all three companies. But yeah, keep going. Sorry.
Okay. That looks to be a good one.
Yeah.
Just the Silver says September 19th was a triple witching day. Joel, that'll be awesome. Flight to Toronto. Mark, let's ride in your hypothetical joint venture higher scale with Brandon. That was definitely said on the live because I thought it was said after the stream. It must have been said when we were recording with him.
Oh yeah, that's right. We mentioned about doing something with him, or he said he wanted his own personal, and we were like, "Come on, let's do it." And he was like, "There you go." So something to think about. I like it.
Michael Anthony, big Hovr investor here. Does anyone like a sector being a favor sector? People on CNBC saying tariffs haven't hit yet this past week. I haven't seen that. Michael, would you be able to fire that across to me on DMs? CNC, big shout out, my guy. We actually need to get you on an EVTOL weekly. I know you're big into ONDS and Unusual Machines. If that is not the same company, I don't think it is. No, one's on that, isn't it? And the other's Unusual Machines. He's big into the
ONDS,
drones.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He
knows a lot of info. Really good guy. Yeah, really good guy.
Keegan, the fact is people with disposable income are willing to pay to save themselves time. That's the bull case. It's as simple as. And I think the eVTOL companies really need to start pushing that more about the amount of time it'll save and the convenience rather than how much it's going to cost.
And on that, and again, only because I consume a little bit more of the Archer and the Atom, but again, it speaks to the whole industry and what every company in this industry is doing. Adam had made this point or comment quote was about time machines. And he was basically saying, we are inventing the time machine because just to that comment was spoke right there. It's the time that we're getting back in our lives. So again, just because Adam said it, but that would go for any of the eVTOLs is they're giving us our time back. So no, I'm with you. Great comment.
You know, and to talk to that for a minute too, to add prudence to that. If you look over my shoulder, one of my airplanes, obviously I got the cowling off, and it's also missing a prop as well. The prop had to come off to go get serviced, and the prop shop is in Florida. And I'm currently in North Carolina. So I had to take that prop off and I had to put it in the back of my truck. And then I drove down to Georgia and then I drove another 5 hours to Florida to get it to the prop shop. That's a 10-hour evolution. That's 1 day of my life that has now been wasted just sitting in a car.
Wow.
I'm actually thinking I'm going to pull the seat out of my Mooney, the front seat out of my Mooney, and see if I can fit a prop in it. Because if that's the case, when I have to go back, it would only take me 2.5 hours to fly to that prop shop. So I could literally just go down, a 2.5-hour flight down, and then pick up the prop, bring it back here. That's a 5-hour evolution. So I've basically gained 15 hours of my life just because I'm in aviation. And
you got a day and a half of your life back.
So you start thinking about, like, when you're in your car and you got to drive, like if you're in, let's say you're in DC and you want to get up to the north end of DC, or you're in downtown New York and you want to get out to the Hamptons, or you want to, or you're in LA, right? Any of these high density areas. How much time are you sitting in your car when in only a few years you're going to be like, nope, I'm not going to sit in my car for 2 hours. I'm going to be home in 20 minutes. I'm going to get to my kid. I'm going to go see my kids in the play that they're involved in.
And something to that mark too, up here in the DC area, and maybe similar to the other metropolitan areas, with 495, 395, 295, they've always been congested. They've always trying to figure out the way to expand the lanes, add another HOB in there. But literally, we run out of space. You can only create so many lanes left and right. So I think again, the low. I'm always forgetting this one, but low altitude mobility. I think is a real game changer, where we lose that room on widening the roads. We take care of that airspace a little bit above it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then Bagger Holden said, I didn't say that. I thought you did, my guy, but I apologize if I'm putting words in your mouth. Bagger Holden said, I said if they lift 150 pounds with the prototype, that's almost as much as Joby has shown with the full spacecraft. One pilot and no passengers. And no passenger seats is close to that.
Yeah, but there's nothing that says when Joby's look, in flight test, you don't put an interior in it, and you don't stick a bunch of 150-pound dummies in the back seat. You literally have an empty interior. You have a couple of flight test racks collecting data, and then you have steel plates. And those steel plates you don't see, but they're there. Joby is lifting their required max takeoff. They have already demonstrated it, and they've already tested it. Because if they haven't, they would not be going to TIA here in the next few months.
Guys, before we get any further along, there is 62 of you live with us right now. It's only 9 likes. Do smash the like button. It does push us out to more people. You want to grow this industry, it's the only way you can do it. Mixie Phil says, I've got multiple screens going. So you're watching the football too. You know what? I'm actually pretty chuffed with that some of you want to watch us with the football. Do you know what? I wouldn't watch us when Arsenal are playing, not going to lie. But that's me. Joel Phillips says, guys, looking forward 5 years, which future technologies would be key to underpin the future technology of eVTOL progress?
Joel, stick around. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. I was about to say.
Thank you, Joel. Who primed Joel up? Because we are going to discuss that at the end of the show. So stick around.
Yeah, Mark has a very big announcement, guys. You're not going to want to miss that one. Keegan says, I North Carolina represent, bro.
Where are you at, Keegan? Where do you live in North Carolina? We'll let him respond, but
Michael says, my net went out for 5 minutes and heard my name before I went back for a few minutes. Michael, what did I ask you? Oh, it was to drop me a DM on where you seen that CNBC saying the tariffs hit or haven't hit yet. Olga, big shout out. We've got one of our rock lab balls over in the eVTOL industry. And guys, this is exactly what I mean. You get new eyes when it gets shared out. Olga, hello, I just started my new position on Joby. Very exciting company. Do you know what? Joby's the front runner at the moment, the furthest ahead in the certification process. But look, I wouldn't close my eyes on ACHR. I wouldn't close my eyes on any of them at the moment, apart from EHang. We have a bit of faith.
Yeah.
Bagger Holden says there's no proof they ever use ballast. Michael Anthony says, does anyone know why KRACISFM selling off that CR report, a great quarter, that people still need to buy food to cook at home when school is that? What? That is a wild comment, my guy. Bag of Holding says,
Bag of Holdings, it's flight test. They're like when aircraft companies, an aircraft company is, you start off with a design target. Any aircraft says it's going to have a max takeoff weight. And one of the very first things in envelope expansion in flight test is fully loading your aircraft to that weight. And then you go and you do all of your KPPs to what you advertise to. They're not going to advertise it or say that they did it because it's just commonplace in a flight test program. They've already done it.
Well, and I think the light bulb for me, Mark, there is you wouldn't be getting the concise flight data if you didn't have that. Would that
exactly
also
right.
kind of tie into it? Okay.
Yes, that is exactly right.
That helps out.
Yeah.
No.
Like if you look at any pilot operating handbook, which is a required document to carry with you in an aircraft when you're flying it, all of the performance data is always based on max takeoff weight and a standard day. And from that, you can take your performance back based off different weather conditions, but you're always basing it off of your max takeoff weight. So unless they are doing unless Joby is complete smoke and mirrors, and they're lying to the FAA and they're lying to everybody, and it's a complete conspiracy, and Elon Musk is an alien, then sure, maybe they're not putting ballast in the airplane, but they've already proved. I guarantee they've already done it.
And one thing really quick, I might just jump back with Olga, because I had this in my notes and just wanted to pop it in just to let everybody know that even though I'm the Archer Bull, I do, if anybody doesn't know this about Joby yet, just wanted to throw this out there. Was going over some companies that Palantir has partnerships as well. So I'm going to first boast about the Archer partnership, and then also they have a partnership with United, so that ties in very well. But I did learn, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong, that Palantir and L3 Harris have a partnership. So I just figured I'd put that out there for the Joby community as well. So me as a Palantir bull who always likes the involvement of that company and a company that I'm investing in or looking in as well. If that's anything to anybody on the Joby side, it did perk my ears up a little bit, as that would be the DoD player that Joby would be tied in with at the moment.
Palantir just have their fingers in all pies. Like if you're going anywhere near the government, Palantir are just going to be touching you. There, honestly. Joel says he's sticking around, and then Keegan is from Charlotte.
Oh, okay, Keegan, I'm out in Rutherfordton right now, so I'm only an hour away. If you want, hook up with me on X, and we'll trade information.
I'm actually going to touch on X in a minute. June, big shout out. Nova Rocket fan watching today because there wasn't anything else on and interested in learning about another space. June, big shout out. You follow all that.
Stick around with us, June. We're going to take you to the promised land. It's milk and honey.
June's really good. You've always been good to me, so it's great to see you here, June. It's great to have you back, and I'm glad nothing was on, so you could come kill some time with us.
Now, guys, jump across the X. Make sure you are following Dylan. Is Dylan11? He does all the flight data. He has on ACHR. He does cover the whole eVTOL industry on X. He gets stuff before I get stuff. He sends a lot of his information to me before I even get it. So make sure you follow him. And then, guys, I'm not going to tell you why, but make sure you're following Mark on X. And that's, what is it? Glass Air
278. Yep.
278.
Yeah.
Guys,
That is a glass air behind me. So
you're going to want to follow Merkin X because he has something big in the pipeline. And that's all I'm going to say. Hooknam says, "Hi, Brotherhood. Great call on Hovr. Congrats." You know what? I'm not even going to take credit for it. They're just performing. They're operating exactly how they're doing exactly what they've said in the tin. Brandon has been completely honest in every single interview. He's won us over, and he's won absolutely everyone over, and that's why you're seeing the stock price go up. Honestly, there's no news coming out about Horizon at the moment. Yes, the whole macro market's moving, so it is helping, but I honestly believe it's exposure at the moment. Brandon's going around. He's not only going around to different YouTube channels, he's going around to different media sources. He's getting the story out about Horizon. I honestly believe you get the story out about Horizon, you touch more investors, it's going to start moving quick because it's such a small market cap. It doesn't take much to move up.
yeah, I wonder if the hover pop too was because of his presentation he did at the Gabriel Funds, where they were hosted a few weeks ago.
Potentially, actually, could have
That
been.
was 2 weeks ago, and I did see a bit, like basically his presentation. So
Let's do a pre-recorded review of that. That'd actually be decent.
Yep.
VarCNC says, "I really want Hovr to scale out the current prototype production for autonomous cargo delivery. They could run a train on the kidney in a cooler market." Olga says, "Hey June, you are here. Do you know what? We're creating these.
We're bringing
girls
in friends.
The hostel sisters. I'm telling you that the OGs, they have been there from the start of the Rocket Lab stream, and they're starting to infiltrate and take over this whole eVTOL stream. Girls,
I love it.
show the girl power now."
Yeah.
Definitely.
VarCNC says, "Meant Hovr. No problem, my guy." Oh, I love this one. This is what I was laughing at when you were talking. Mickey Phil says, "Mark is a midnight away from renting out his garage for a rap video."
Maybe in a different life. Back when I was doing Juicy Fruit commercials, yeah. I am too old now.
He retired from entertainment, but he still comes on with us.
Oh my God, Hustle Bro for
what we
Christmas
got?
special karaoke. Imagine that, my guy. With the beers, you can have your whiskeys, everything. We have to have a Christmas special. That'd actually be funny. Bagger Holden says they are not obliged to add weight. The max weight could be close anyway. I think they would brag about lifting weight and being the first eVTOL to do it. I'm so confused about why.
Yeah, why are you really? I mean, maybe they're putting helium in it too, just to make the tires just a gram lighter as well.
iManOS says, "Hello guys, any thoughts on 2027 long leak calls for Joby and ACHR?"
I'd have to look at the price, and again, it's all where you feel like the sentiment will be at that time. If we talk about options, I go back to October of 24 when, man, nobody was caring about the volatility or option chains within the eVTOL sector. And man, you could grab a $5 contract for Archer for 15 cents or $15, what it would come out 2 times 100. So, if we could take that crystal ball back towards October 24, get those leaps. Yeah.
How far is the chain going out? Let me see how far the chain goes up for Joby.
I was going to say with some tickers, I want to say they may have started to tap into
January 28th.
Oh, so it did come out there. Interesting.
Yeah.
What do they have in the money going for? Like a $15 or something like that?
$650.
Who's this?
Okay.
Joby
this is Joby, 560 to 6. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
it's still got to understand the whole options premium and stuff, and then again, got to have the.
I'm sorry. That was the puts. The call. I'm sorry. No, the calls are 840.
Oh,
so it would be $840 for 100 or for per contract.
That's correct. So. Yep. Yeah. But that's in the money.
You see it moving extreme before 27 though. I have my eyes set on 2028 and then maybe again then 2030, but 27's pretty dodgy for me. I don't know.
It's interesting. Yeah, it will be interesting.
For
time.
Horizon. For Horizon.
I don't think there's any option chains on Horizon right now.
Nah.
Yeah. But just buy the stock. It would be the equivalent of buying an option chain at their current market cap and their stock price. Just buy the stock if you believe in Horizon.
Do you know what would be an interesting one? I would actually love to run a poll as well on how many shares people have in Horizon and see how much of our community hold Horizon. It would be nice to know how much Horizon the whole community has.
I was joking around with one of our buddies saying, by the end of the day, some of us combined as a following team may have a shareholder position at the table, as much as the love of Hovr is around us. Or around the company, meaning on the channel and stuff like that.
Is there a way to do a poll anonymously where someone can state their position but not be public? Because
yeah. So I can do it.
Because that would be a really cool distribution.
I can do like 1,000 and under, 1,000 to 5,000, 5,000, 10,000. It won't tell me who's put it in.
Let's do that.
Look, we won't have. It'll be an estimate of how many, but no, it'll be interesting.
We'll do 500 to 1,000. We'll do 1,000 to 10,000, and then 10,000 to 10 to 20,000, and then just a plus, and then just
25K and up.
25K and up. Yeah, and let's see.
What are you guys thinking? I just looked up the World Cup date, so that's going to be June 11th. Through July 19th. You think we could get either of these to do a flyover? What mark certification wise?
What is this for? For what?
For the World Cup. Coming up June 11th of 26 through the July 19th of 26.
There is a possibility that they could get provision. Well, first of all, there's nothing that says they couldn't do experimental flights and do flyovers or demonstrate that. But
those are planning now, aren't they?
Yeah. They could get provisional type certificates. You don't have to go all the way through. Like if they got a provisional type certificate, which means it's limited. A lot of times you'll have aircraft companies like they don't get all the way through FICI certification just because they couldn't find ICE to go and demonstrate their test points. So the FAA will give you a provisional type certificate, and then you can go and deliver your aircraft, and then the aircraft just can't fly in icing conditions.
And will it matter that it'll be like an extremely populated area around then?
Well, you would probably then, like you could demonstrate it. Like an experimental airplane. Well, even experimental airplanes, you can fly over populated areas now. I think that I personally think that you will see these will be introduced in the World Cup next year. Definitely will be introduced because think about it. It's not just the Olympics where the World Cup isn't confined to just one city of LA. The World Cup is going to be everywhere. It's going to be the entire country. So if you start showing Jobies and Archers at each one of those locations, it's going to give the optics that these things are everywhere.
Guys, I will be watching no eVTOL stream during a World Cup match. Trust me.
Yeah.
He said that's his vacation. We know Liam's vacation date's coming up in 2026.
Keegan says, hell yeah, sounds good. VastCC, Palantir also has partnerships with Ondas and Redcat in drones. Vast, we need to pin you down. Again, that was my fault completely. I forgot I was going to Milan. I need to pin you down for a eVTOL stream. Francisco, what's up, my guys? Nice hanger, Mark.
It's only a rental.
June says, thanks, guys. Francisco, Liam, when Rocket Lab Live, bro. Mate, do you know what? DM me, we'll sort that out. I was rough as anything this week, my guy. But I will. We need to get back to it. Olga, yes, we are due for Rocket Lab Live. I will be back, I promise you guys.
They're ready.
Keegan, I think delivery between facilities is another massive opportunity. Assume an LTL shipment less than truckload shipment that's urgently needed. You can easily ship it without being tied to a semi. Michael says Vector Vest said over the weekend that Palantir is so overvalued that needs to be sold if you're in it. Okay.
It's a tough one. The valuation, it is way stretched. It's like a 300 PE. But again,
like 700 PE, I think.
It didn't really get its institutional leg till about 65. Then the S&P inclusion had it around 80. So there's just these weird catalysts that have come along with also Palantir breaking the rule of 40 and having like a 90-90 quarter. So it's a tough one because even if they come in on Q3 and they do 50% growth, it's not as much as they did for the last quarter. But it's still a heck of a lot more than these other SaaS companies are doing. So again, not financial advice, but yeah, Palantir, it's super pricey, but in 5 to 10 years, will it be worth it? That's, for everybody to decide on their own, but they're highly integrated, as you see, into many of what seems to be the future ATCs, military. Matt Money actually posted, I believe, a picture when they had signed the UK. I think it was like $1 billion deal over in UK. And I joked with Matt because it was like the map that got laid down and it had all Palantir covered in blue. It was almost like the game of Risk. It was like Palantir had started like taking over the game of Risk, taking over the board in the game of Risk. So I told Matt Money Palantir's winning at the game of Risk and Matt Money is winning at the game of life. So,
Well, everyone wants to talk about Palantir and how involved they are with the Pentagon, but people also miss too, Palantir is taking over the commercial market as well. Like they're enormous amount of their revenue is not even DoD or government. Yeah. It's also the commercial market. Like businesses now are starting to buy Foundry. Foundry is one of their large language models, just to run their business and to, better make decision matrix with all of their data.
So. And I was saying this, and this was probably getting some Reddit hate. Well, it was getting some Reddit hate back when we were on there back in October, but it wasn't that I was comparing Joby and ACHR to Palantir as what they do as fundamentally what they do as a company or anything like that, but just again as that split revenue opportunity where again both of these around that time last year we were investing in a commercial air taxi operation company. And then again, when that flip over to defense started coming both with ACHR and then with Joby as well, again, that fork in the road to me was just that signal where we now have two streams of possible revenue. And for me, I'll take that over one. So,
Guys, 81 of you live with us.
Nice.
20 likes.
Growing.
Make sure you smash that like button. Told you it shows us out to more people. Just keep that rising. 84 if you know, loving. My aunt says Death Smiles did a poll on Reddit of shareholder ownership. Yeah, I want to do a poll on our channel here just to see how much Horizon investors we have here. We
could do 3 different polls. We could do 3 different polls just for ACHR, Joby, and Hovr. I think it would be good to we could do that once a month and start tracking progression.
Oh yeah, it'll actually show us sentiment as well.
I like
seeing if people selling out.
Yep.
And I like that because it's that kind of has more sentiment driven because like you said, Liam, it's not always about if you hold the most shares or what your DCA is and when you got in, it's like, do you have the belief in this industry? Do you have the belief in these companies, the conviction in these companies? Or are you seeing maybe some of the stories that we're seeing continue to play out within these companies? So I think that and that continuous poll to show the growth and that sentiment in the eVTOL industry and to the companies and what sentiment, like, again, you could have a month go by and Hovr may go up 20% in the sentiment poll, and it'd be very interesting to see that.
I actually can't believe this. Kelly, big shout out. We're just getting all the Rocket Lab women in here today. I have Hovr. We'll think of adding a bit of Joby and ACHR. Kelly, big shout out. I know you're a big investor in Horizon yourself. Don't be afraid to reach out to me on X if you have any information you want us to share on Horizon. We are trying to do more and more videos.
I'm curious if Kelly is related to Paul Metz. Paul Metz was a very storied test pilot for the YF-23 for Northrop, and then he became the chief test pilot of the F-22. So, and he was actually my boss when I started my career on the F-35 program.
That'd be mad if they're related.
That'd be sweet. Yeah.
My encyclopedia of all aviation knowledge. I love that, Mark. That's so cool.
Paul Metz told me over a beer once when I asked him, like, he's flown 100 different airframes, and I said, what's your favorite airplane to fly? And without hesitation, he was like, a glider. It's the closest you'll ever get to a bird.
Oh wow.
So
CNC says, I have no eVTOL positions currently, but I may get back in the coming weeks. You've done mad though on your drone stocks lately. Big well done to you, my guy. Bag of Holding does have some Hovr, so big shout out to you, my guy. IMANOS says, guess that within 2027 we will be very close to FAA approvals. After approvals, the narrative will change from promised land to when will it be profitable would be tricky. The race will get crazy. The only problem I have is after certification, I think that's when the penny will drop for a load of eVTOL investors that, we're back at ground zero again. We now have to get profitable. It literally is like starting your business again. This is a whole new challenge now. So it wouldn't surprise me, do we get an initial mad pump round certification? It wouldn't actually surprise me if we start selling off for a bit after it. Then CNC says, I get it, Liam. Jet setting across Europe and ain't got time for us plebs. Lol. Big shout out, my guy. We will get you on, I promise. Sorry, Mark. Foundry isn't a large language model. It's a data interoperability system. Not to nitpick, data is my day job.
That's fair, Beth. That's fair. That is fair.
This is why we have a live channel, so that we can. I always reserve the right to stand corrected.
But that's what I love about it.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
You're right. You're right, Liam.
It's constantly being able to test your thesis. If you're wrong, at least it's the quickest way to be told you are wrong, because the guys will let us know. But there's 77 of us here, Mark. I'm gonna give you the.
You want to hand it to me? All right. Yeah. So, I've been involved in this channel for four or 5 months now, and obviously we've been following Hovr, we've been following ACHR, and now we've been following Hovr, we've been following Joby, and now lately we've been following Hovr as well. Joby and ACHR obviously are pushing for the space of taxis and intercity mobility. Hovr's that is the next case, or is the next use case of regional mobility. My question is what's the in between, and has that market even been touched yet? And I'm thinking the 4-seater, the vehicle that in 5 years Dylan or Liam, who are not pilots, could go into a showroom and purchase. And I believe that that's actually coming. I think that is on the horizon. And the reason I say that is because right now the FAA is teaming with industries, with the EIPP program, to start to determine with industries and all the state and local authorities of how are we going to integrate these vertical flying crafts. And then you add to that the requests for solutions that are now going out on sam.gov for revamping the FAA and revamping the air traffic control system. What both of that means is autonomy. And soon, and this is the question to the channel, is would you buy, if you didn't have to be a pilot, in 5 years, would you buy your own VTOL aircraft, HEVTOL or EVTOL aircraft, something that you could pull out? You don't need a hangar behind me. You don't need an airport. You'd need maybe an acre of land, and you could pull it out of your large pre-built garage get in it, put in your flight plan, hit the button, and go. Would you be on board for that? Because I don't think that that's been touched yet. But if you think about growth of a market where not only are you moving people, but you're also moving product. And also, if you think about it with self-driving car and full autonomy, that is going to start entering into the consciousness of the public, where in just the next year or two, you could go buy a Tesla full self-driving car and never have it delivered to your house, and it'll go make money for you. So what's to say that when the airspace and autonomy has all been joined together, and I believe that's going to happen fairly quickly, within the next few years, that you could invest in your own flying craft that will immediately, that you could use for your own personal use, or it could be used for moving lungs, moving blood, moving any sort of product up to, say, 1,000-pound payload, fully autonomous. What do you think?
Nice. I'd buy one. I know I would buy one. I'd buy one in a heartbeat. I'd buy one tomorrow. Guys, please jump into the comments. Do let us know. Yeah. But I am going to run a poll for this because Mark did get our minds rolling when he did come with this question to us. So do make sure you jump in after the stream and just drop your answer in the poll. It'll be completely anonymous, but we just want to know, is it something that would interest you? Something that, look, autonomous, you don't have to be a pilot. You're all in love with this eVTOL industry, but look, we're talking about these air taxi models. What about your own personal eVTOL? We see Mark there with his two beloved airplanes behind him. But would you jump in to your own aircraft? Would you have that operate for you? The whole excitement about Tesla at the moment is hopping off of the full self-driving, but this is actually a step up from a Tesla full self-driving. This is...
Yeah. What does that market look like? Like, just think about it. What does that market look like in 5 years?
That's a powerful one.
Said here on the Hustle Brothers. Said here on the Hustle Brothers. Who's joining us?
I think it's great. The low altitude mobility, Mark, and the fact that you speak of it being autonomous. I mean, that's something just like you say, where for me as somebody that, let's say if I love the Midnight design, for me to own and operate a Midnight, I'm going to have to figure out how to fly a Midnight. I'm going to have to figure out there's just a lot that goes into that. But
well, and your entry cost too. Your entry cost would be $5 to $6 million.
Exactly.
But honestly, flying, people build experimental aircrafts. The experimental airplane sitting behind me right there is a 2-seater. You can buy a kit and build that thing for $75,000. So, and if aircraft, especially like Joby and Archer and Hovr are already paving the way, electrification reduces the price dramatically in terms of complexity. Personally, I think the technology is there to where if an automotive company or a large industry stepped on and said, yes, let's figure out how to mass produce personal flying crafts, by the time Joby and Archer and Hovr are coming online, Wisk already said they're not going to get in the game until it's fully autonomous. So obviously they know that that's out there. That's Boeing. They're pushing the regulators right now to have that framework in place. So what's to say, all right, start now, and you've got your own flying craft in 4 to 5 years. What's that market look like?
Mark, you've literally erupted the chat, and I want to actually commend you here, Mark. I
ain't got a mic. I got a mic to drop it.
Look at this. I'd rather an eVTOL that would land in my yard and pick me up, and I don't need to own it. Going to the vertiport wouldn't be great. Now, I didn't see that you didn't want to own it, but do you know what? He's on your level.
Did we just get a positive thumbs up from Bag?
I think you did.
Makes you feel 100%. Awesome. Mary absolutely would.
Oh, I know. Mary would build it with me. Mary would be along for the ride.
Olga, I would love to have my own little self-flying Joby. Matan, yes, I think many would. A personal aircraft is essentially a flying car people have been waiting for. Would that require a fully new business, or do you think the incumbents could just add autonomy to the existing designs? Now, the
Well,
only
they
thing
can,
about
yeah, they can add to it, but their use case is different.
they're going
It's
for
a
an air
large,
taxi model.
it's an air taxi model. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mary says big step up from Tesla. It really is. Joel, I'd buy one if I had the space. Wondering how much it would cost. Yeah, we had bag of holding. Your friend Terry says a whole lot of
He's
single
there.
seaters could be moving into larger two seaters.
Yeah.
Hooked them.
I bet
Say,
you, I think the model would be honestly, you could do a 4-seater.
I like the
You-
4-seater.
Do
The
a
family
4-seater.
friendly.
Do a 4-seater because then that's about 1,000-pound payload, 800 to 1,000 pounds.
hook them would get an Archer because loves the design and the Joby to go shopping. Nixie Phil, I'd have to sell my SP3. Mary, yes, I would. We will have Uber Air anyway. Eco technology investor, hi guys, I hold a large position in. It didn't send the rest of your message. Oh, guys,
The
that was such
cliffhanger.
a positive response there. I
Yeah.
actually want to know in the chat. Do jump in quickly and let me know. Would you guys actually be more bullish on the air taxi eVTOL industry or the personal eVTOL industry? That
That's a good
is
question.
interesting. It's like, would you be more interested in investing in Uber, or would you like to invest in the company that manufactures? That is actually, would you invest in Hovr or would you invest in Uber? Guys, do let us know. I'll keep the stream going for a little bit just so I can get your comments. Mark, you always get a mind thinking. Mark did ring me during the week and actually just pounced me with this question. It actually got me thinking, my guys.
But like I say too, for anybody, and that's something that makes me smile in talking about this is, just in an emerging industry, you're having an opportunity for engineers, designers, entrepreneurs to take a risk, to take a chance, to step out there and do something that they love, and possibly turn that into a business success story for themselves as well. And, if we are going through this reindustrialization, I think they call it the fourth reindustrialization, times are changing, and being the forward thinkers, using the skills and the knowledge that we have gained in our past years to be able to put those forward into what the world can and will possibly be looking like is awesome. And I think emotionally for me, it's always cool to see. I think whether it's Joby or Archer, or again, the autonomous flying vehicle company that will come about, and have us to point A to point B with that tap of the button. Just being honest, like in the last year and a half, completing the story has been something that has been really emotionally positive. I've really, really enjoyed seeing either from the entrepreneur or just any project it could be, and seeing it till the end, not giving up, going through those hard times, getting through the failures, and then, seeing the pride that person has by seeing that vision all the way through. I don't know. It's just something that's really been touching me over the last year or so. So, yeah, all these companies and the ones that are up and coming, go get it done. You guys got this.
Do you know what? I want to actually say big congratulations to both Mark and Dylan. This is being streamed on both YouTube and X. We have now crossed 100 people live with us. That is our biggest live stream since. Look, the earnings calls, we can take them completely out of it, because we do have hundreds of people in there. But this is our biggest stream ever.
Let's get it to 200. Let's get it to 200, and I'll jump in the plane with the
guys, everyone
Starlink
jump in,
and
smash the like button.
We'll all go flying together.
Guys,
I like that.
if we get 200 people into the stream, Mark's going to go flying. Do jump in, smash the like button. You need to.
Obviously not tonight, but we'll.
Not tonight.
We'll arrange that.
But we will.
Make sure to bang the subscribe button if you've enjoyed everything eVTOL. Look, every week we are here. We're trying to roll out every single day. Look, any of you guys on X, do make sure you're following us. We're here every single day covering eVTOLs. Follow the two boys. Dylan is Dylan11. He does do everything in regards to what? Flight data, flight telemetry on the midnights.
SEC filings.
SEC filings.
I do my best and always on the page, give the shout out to all those that are doing their best too. So, like you said, Liam, and all this has been a community that has grown. And I'm not going to overtalk it, but it's a really community that has grown, and I see it keep growing. And I think at the end of the day, when these companies perform, we're all going to continue to have a lot of good times together. But yeah, it makes me smile.
And then, guys, make sure to follow Glass 278.
Mm-hmm.
He's giving you drips and drabs. Trust me, there's something big in the pipeline.
It's an exciting world ahead.
Yeah,
just getting started, boys. We're just getting started.
Excited. Well,
boys and girls.
Juicy fruit at the wheel. Olga, nice playing. Joel says, love today's chat, guys. Thank you. Glad I stuck around. No problem, my guy. Bag of hold. My oil change is probably 10k miles overdue. I don't think I should own an eVTOL. If you had an eVTOL, it could be tonight. Just hop in and go. Guys, my name's Liam. I am on the Hustle Brothers here. I am about to run a poll, so make sure you stick around for that. Also, I did drop a video about a confession I had in ACHR Aviation. It's a bit controversial, but do make sure you jump in, watch that next. But yeah, my name's Liam, one of the Hustle Brothers here, joined by my two boys here. I've got Prophet Dylan on the right. We've got E-Hang's biggest bull down on the bottom. We have Mike Berry. Guys, until next week, we'll see you then.